Reading more Dr. Stone. The previous chapter was really nice, really sweet and sentimental, and had some really fun moments. And then at the end, things got a little crazy. So I'm really curious where they'll go from here. They just opened up a lot of big unknowns, and they don't really know like what are they gonna do next. Let's find out. What will they do next? Here we see a representation of good Senku, our Senku, now battling with this demonic, symbolically emerging from the rocks, just like our Senku did, evil Senku who wants to re-petrify the entire planet. And again, what? Mysterious Y-Man's message is being spoken with Senku's voice. It's so scary, I've got goosebumps. What does it all mean? Y-Man just talked to us, but he's actually Senku. And who's the Senku here? Chrome with kind of a scientific thought process, but definitely off the mark. Could never be a bad guy. Maybe almost refreshing in its simple-mindedness. Probably recording, right? Like on a smartphone. The smartphone's around, sadly, and I'm 10 billion% sure I have no memory of recording that. Do you have a twin, a doppelganger? Did Senku travel through time? Actually, the fact that they're kind of suggesting it here as a joke makes me think it's probably not actually going to happen. But, this is my theory. Theories without evidence are no better than boorish delusions. Am I wrong? Y-Man is hostile towards us, so he will make contact again, allowing us to get to the bottom of this. Tita. We see, of course. there's no sense in panicking, right? As long as they keep the petrification device away from the speaker. You just gotta take things one step at a time. So Ukyo can tell it's a recording. Same pitch, tone, everything. As a former sonar operator, I'd stake my ears on it. The voice dips into the uncanny valley, almost like a Vocaloid's. Synthetic voice. Okay, I guess that too. I just didn't think they would actually do that because that's kind of uninteresting, right? Like maybe there's other aspects of it that are interesting, but because then it's just like, oh, they made it Senku's voice as like a prank. It's like epic prank to try to get them to doubt Senku or something. But I mean, they realized like right away. So there's probably some other reason. There's like a twist upon this twist. I didn't suspect it would be this. I mean, it's impressive that there's still someone out there with enough computing power to make something like this. Because this is something that's only been achieved by computer scientists in the real world quite recently, convincing or at least even uncanny valley area synthesis of an arbitrary person's voice. The other thing that means is the only way to make one of these is to have tons and tons of recording of the voice that you want to emulate. You need to be able to kind of find every phenom, the parts of speech. You don't actually need a ton. I think with like 10 hours or something of recorded footage, of recorded audio that is, of hearing someone speak quite clearly, you can make like a pretty good synthesizer. I'm pretty sure I read that. It's worth looking into though. Like you should just research this stuff on your own because it's super interesting. And the YouTube channels that make like the Slavoj Žižek Vocaloid and the John F. Kennedy Vocaloid and all these famous voices reading the Navy SEAL copy pasta and stuff. Mwah! Oh, it's top quality content. Okay, so they freak out. In the stone world, how? Yes, that's of course a big question. The issue isn't how, we know for a fact it's happening. Rather, we should ask why. Why send a message using an artificial voice? Yeah. Answering that could help expose who it is and where they are. Dear Y-Man is almost certainly a bad apple hoping to petrify us all. But why use a transmission? And why imitate Dear Senku? When you finally put Ibarra in his place, you petrified him with a transmitted command, right? Maybe Y-Man is imitating your voice based on that. Yeah, why was the device on this island to start with? Yeah. Oh man, it's been so long I didn't even think about that. I kept thinking at some point the real mastermind would be exposed, who's like a modern person or is like somehow much more directly connected with a lineage from modern people or something like that. But no, it turned like I thought like the master would be like that, but the master turned out to be Soyuz's father and a statue. And Ibarra really was the mastermind this entire time, who's like a primitive person. And at some point I forgot. Like at some point I kind of forgot about that mystery. Why was the petrification device there? Wyman is imitating her voice based on that. Why? Having someone who knows about the device's history could give us a clue about Wyman. And here I see Soyuz in the foreground. So it, like, Ibarra took the petrification device and petrified Soyuz's father. And then had this whole coup and took over the island and stuff. So it clearly existed before Ibarra. It wasn't brought there to be given to Ibarra. So Soyuz, with his god-tier memory, his cheat code level memory, can maybe recall some conversation with his father about this, I don't know, sacred artifact or whatever they'd call it. But how to use it also must have been passed down over time, even though it was never used. Presumably. It's not like they encountered any other random petrified people on that island, because it's not like they would have been able to depetrify anyone. Oh, so mysterious! Okay. Let's move further. I remember, not about the history, but I've seen this device's shape somewhere else. It's that cheat code level memory. Know that Wyman is our foe. It's the battle team. Our job isn't coming up with theories. Instead, we ought to train for the inevitable battle that awaits us. A scary enemy already. Oh, I thought Ginro was talking about Kohaku as the scarier enemy. I love this. This is so endearing. The battle team. The fact that the battle team isn't just the main characters really highlights just how special this series is in the world of shonen. But B, it's like they almost know the genre tropes. And it's like, even though we're in such complex mysteries and there's so much like intrigue and weaving of technology and culture and all of these like different groups understanding different things, it's all very complex and heady. And the battle team is like let's go train, guys. Because they know, in the end, even with all that stuff, there's going to be a fight. there's still going to be a fight. And there probably will be a fight. I doubt it'll be against this Y-Man person himself, but he'll probably have some heavies, some bodyguards around him or something that all our good guys can have cool fight scenes with. Okay. So Kirisame recruited into the battle team, squaring off against Kohaku. They get a proper rematch with their favorite equipment and outfits and stuff. Yeah, the unfamiliar dress kept me moving at my full potential. Evenly matched. The two of them are so fierce. Ginro runs out. I'm gonna try to learn science. I can be a theorist. I don't want to be the battle team. So I was like thinking about how this would go, right? And I talked about I wanted a party. We got a little party. I was happy with it. And the other thing I was thinking is that there was going to be like a conversation around do we depetrify Hyoga and Mose? Do we depetrify Homura, who I guess is just petrified in the cage right now? Do we depetrify them? What do we do with them? You know, that kind of thing. And then, like, even what do we do with, like, Ibarra? What do we do with Arashi? All these, like, unrepentant villains? Should we try to, like, rehabilitate them? Are we just going to leave them petrified on the island? Should we depetrify and then imprison them? There could even be, like, a conversation around, like, which is morally better? Like, which is, like, a kinder way to treat them? I don't know. Anyways, I thought that kind of thing might happen. But maybe they're just like, screw it. Wow, we really took care of a big issue there. I don't know. Anyways, it doesn't seem like we're moving in that direction at any rate. Ooh. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, interesting. I forgot about that. I even said they must have had this device for a while but never used it because we didn't see random petrified people. But there was that time that Taiju saw a random petrified person, right? This was like foreshadowed, wasn't it? When he was going to collect other statues. Way back when they were reviving people in the cave and building up this like little covert resistance force and stuff. Was it back then? I actually don't remember. But this is cool. The design of this character is really cool too. There's like a mysteriousness that emanates from it. On their arm, they have a tattoo. It's not quite the petrification device, which is like a trifold thing, right? It's like a Mobius strip that folds in on itself 3 times. This is like, looks like 2 circles interacting. It's not just one strip, but 2 things. Here's my guess. This is the depetrification device, which also exists, and that at the very end of the series, Senkyu will say 12,800,000 meters 1 second and depetrify the whole Earth. It's my theory. Come on, you want to see that, don't you? You'd want to see that, and it looks like my theory of Senku time travel, building the petrification device and using it to save the world might not pan out. But if something like that was the theory, if something like that does end up being the case, it would make sense that they would make a depetrification device too, right? Anyways, okay. We'll learn more now, because this person's coming back. Ooh. They look interesting. Shades of Tsukasa, no? I like that Charlotte's immediately there with clothes. We live in a society. It's been a while since we've seen extra cracks like that. Well, healing. Right, yeah. This is the classic kind of design, these characters. So, only from a few centuries back. Truly been revived from the effects of that queer flash. He's like speaking like in an old language, which I guess kind of makes sense. He's from like a previous era, but he's not from the modern world. It's all very confusing. He's like a samurai kind of archetype. Yeah, I'm into this. Dude, they got a samurai? I never even thought about that. The fun you could have, like, because during the Stone Age, all of these civilizations, the village and the island, were going through all sorts of different cultural eras too. So it makes sense that they could parody like old samurai culture and just be like, yeah, they had like a samurai phase too. What are you gonna say? Like, you gonna tell me that's impossible? Yeah, this guy has big samurai vibes, which I'm super into. But who petrified him and why? Big question. My lord. Whoa. So this is the actual purpose of having the battle crew out training. And he remembers someone who looks like Ginro. Okay, here's my theory. This dude actually was from Ishigami Village. Okay? Way back when Ginro's direct ancestors, Ginro's great-great-great-grandfather or whatever, was the village chieftain. Alright? Because, you know, the chieftain position changes hands a lot in that village. They have the whole ritual and thing. It makes sense that at some point his family would be the ones in charge. Sure, right? And then he's like, brave samurai warrior guy, please go out and explore the world. Like, there must be more than this. We're going to send you on this expedition. He ends up at this island. An intruder, an outsider. Petrified. Which is maybe the MO for a while. Who knows? It was hundreds of years ago. Ah, that's so cool. I never even thought of that. The idea of like, because like so far we've kind of had like the modern period and then present day, right? And stuff from the modern period has been popping up in present day. But this is the first time that we've really considered the fact that there's thousands of years in between, where it's so cool. Dishonored myself here, my lord. I was turned to stone, you see. Matsukaze deep, like 3,000% samurai vibe. He picked up a stick. Dude, he picked up a stick and used that to knock away both Kirisame and Kohaku. A stick! That's just our resident sleaze bag. This is pretty fun. I like that Ginro at the start of the arc was made to cross-dress and was like terrified and humiliated and bullied. And then at the end of the arc, he's being swept up off his feet by this ancient samurai warrior and worshipped as a lord. and in between, he was like a statue. Really look like someone from the high and mighty past. Definitely a distant relative of mine. Sam, that same person reincarnated. How about you serve me instead? This is so funny. He's actually kneeling to him. He put the stick in his scabbard. Like, that's not a scabbard, sorry. Scabbard is the thing, thing. I don't know what you call it when you put it in your belt. Whatever. It's not about the petrification device, right, Matsukaze? Like, it's history. Why don't you tell Senku all about it? At least he's giving good directions to his vassal. A wise lord is Ginro. This island was once a peaceful realm. Oh, okay. All right. All of my theories are getting dashed down within like 2 pages. So he is actually from this island. Okay. Island was once a peaceful realm. That is until disaster befell us without warning. Okay. That which you call the petrification device. A great number of them rained down from the heavens as if in a nightmare. Whoa! Okay. So there's a ton. Whoa! Okay, okay. And then, as Tsuyu says, that settles it. The source of it all is up above. Which, you know, that's hard to deny. It rained from above. It must be someone in some sort of vessel, some sort of flying ship. This is very interesting. The way that Tsuyu says that settles it made me think that it's like, oh, I should have been speculating that as a theory this whole time. I should have realized that, like, the person petrifying everybody, like Y-Man, probably lives in space. But it's still kind of surprising if that actually ends up being an element, because we already had the whole thing with like Senkyu's father being on the ISS and stuff. So the idea that there was like another space station or something, it's just kind of like, really? Because it's something that must have been set up in the modern day. Like, this is actually crazy. Like, someone in the modern day built a spaceship and then was like living in space for thousands of years, and then hundreds of years ago, from present time, decided to throw all these petrification devices. Or their descendants did or something. I'm so freaking confused. I'm so intrigued, so confused. The timeline is like, there's just so many questions. But I'm confident. I'm confident we'll get good answers. This series has never let me down in that regard. Super valuable information is more than enough for now. Let's see. You don't want to hear the whole flashback? That's actually so funny. It's just a one-panel flashback. That's so funny that Amaryllis, the fact that it's Amaryllis too, even though she's a primitive person, refers to it as a flashback. Science will fill in the gaps. been used against Tsukasa's army. It collects noise. Using it for now, it collects noise in radio waves. Same basic concept at work. A parabolic antenna. Nice. It's been so long since they've acquired something like that. I like it. Baseline length of these measurements is too short to spot the variation. This enemy isn't on the Earth's surface or even in the atmosphere. Oh, okay, because it's a parabolic one. So they should, if it's like anywhere on Earth, there should be like a big variation between like this and this, right? Only if it's at like a relatively fixed point in space. If it was like a geosynchronous satellite, for example, or even just something so far away that like the relative angle changing is like non-existent. It's clever. That's clever. So clever. I'm surprised Senku didn't think of it before when they were just getting the signal from Y-Man saying why. Opposite, actually. Earth's rotation has us moving through space. So if we can get a hold of the baseline length of a few thousand kilometers, we should see something. Oh. Oh, never mind. Oh. When tasting is called, and the results tell us the signal's coming from above, a few 100,000 kilometers away. Oh, wait. Oh, I'm so confused. Y-Man is... Yeah, I wouldn't... Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it, though. Oh, it's just so romantic. I mean, like old school like romance, you know, the romance of adventure. Oh, I love it. Oh, this page is just awesome. Okay, let me count the ways I love this twist that Y-Man is on the moon. I've always loved the theory of like moon bases. You know, it's a very out there, like stupid conspiracy fringe theory that after World War II, the Nazis escaped to the moon. I don't know why there's all these theories. Oh, the Nazis escaped to Argentina. The Nazis escaped to Antarctica. All these secret Nazi bases. We know what happened to the Nazis. Do you not know about the Nuremberg trials? Do you not know about... It's like, oh, they never found Hitler's body. It's just one person. Like, we have... Anyways, it's all very silly. But the idea of the secret moon base is like, whoa. Like, I just think that's so crazy. There's a Mahjong series. What's it called? Legend of Koizumi. About the Prime Minister of Japan playing Mahjong against other world leaders, settle international disputes and stuff. It's friggin' awesome. And there's an arc where they go to the moon to battle the Nazis that live on the moon. It's beautiful. That kind of madness I just love. And you know that this means that the series, the big climactic final arc, is going to be Senku and the Kingdom of Science flying to the friggin' moon to battle against Y-Man up there. And it's like, that's so beautiful, because that, in so many ways, is like, I think, like the crowning achievement of science in human civilization, right? I know it's not actually the most impressive thing we've ever done in terms of like the logistics and stuff behind it. Stuff like getting robots to Mars, landing stuff on asteroids, things like Voyager, I think represent kind of a more objectively huge achievement. But in terms of like the symbolic significance of it, you know, I mean, it kind of bothers me that this is the case. Like, there's always stuff about, oh, America defeated the USSR in the space race. But if you actually look at the list of like firsts in the space race, like first satellite USSR, first spacewalk USSR, first like deployment to orbit and return home USSR. And but it's like America chose moon, like land on moon and walk around is like the only important one. It's like, oh, America went to space race. So I think the moon landing is like, in some regards, is like overhyped. But at the same time, isn't it kind of underhyped? Like, don't you go way too long seeing the moon every day? I'm gesturing to it as if you can see it, but I can't see it right now. Seeing the moon like almost every day and forgetting, holy shit, we walked on the fucking moon. That's unreal. That's so freaking crazy. I really do think it is such a beautiful achievement, such a dream-like, enchanting thing to have seen this through all of human civilization before we really even were humans, before we even had a civilization, still looking up at that same moon, and then actually being able to walk upon its surface. It's just so romantic. It's just so wow. So I'm convinced now, if this series doesn't come to its ultimate climax with Senku stepping foot on the moon, I'm gonna be pretty disappointed, I'll be honest. But they can't just tease us with this and then not go to the moon. I also like, just before I was saying, you know, I never really considered this whole Y-Man being in space thing, even though it actually makes a lot of sense and it answers, excuse me, a lot of questions about like, how did they do it safely? You know, like now there's like more of a plausible motive and stuff. But the reason I didn't consider it is because we already had the whole Senku's father astronaut ISS arc, and I was like, I wouldn't just have like, oh, there was another space station, right? That seemed cheap. But I never thought of the moon. It's like a whole aesthetic territory that they haven't touched. Whew, okay. Damn, these have been some good chapters. Oh man, oh, I love this series. Okay. The moon. It's linked up with the moon's movements. There's no mistaking it. All the primitive people are just freaked out. Actually, Gen is even more freaked out. The primitive people... Oh, this is Yuzuriha. Yeah, it's like the modern people that are more freaked out. The primitive people, I think, are just baffled. They're like, you don't mean the moon, right? There's some like place we haven't heard of that's also called moon. I feel like the primitive people at this point are just like, yeah, okay. The moon, huh? All right. Like, if you just picture all the shit they've seen up until this point, they're just like, okay. The moon, right? That makes sense. What are we gonna do? Gen knows. Gen knows. Look at Senku just setting his plate down. He's like, I wanted to do it anyways, but now we got a reason. I'm going to the motherfucking moon. Oh my god! Oh, that's so awesome. Look at these shots of the moon, too. It's so beautiful with the Milky Way in behind. Really nice use of photography intermingled with the art of the series. Oh, man. This is like one of my favorite chapters ever. That's saying a lot. This series has some fantastic chapters, but we're going to the moon. Whew. Okay. I want to read the next chapter. We're going to keep going. It's like, I want to get back to sanity. I want just one like sane chapter and then I can kind of relax more. Whew, okay. Oh, I'm so hype. We're going to the motherfucking moon. All right, okay. See you tomorrow.